Welcome to my madness, ladies and gentlemen. So today we're going to be taking a look at this Articulated Icons Solitaire action figure. Picked this guy up on fwooshstore.com. I actually went there because they were having a sale on some other figures that I picked up. And while I was there, I was looking around and seeing if there was anything else cool that I might want to get. And I saw this guy, and he gave me kind of, Snake Eyes vibes, sort of. Anyway, I thought he looked pretty cool, and I thought I'd go ahead and pick him up because I wanted to try out a couple different figures because I'd never bought any articulated icons before. So here we are. I got him picked up, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to crack him open and see what we've got inside. All right, so we've got him out of the package. Let's go ahead and take a look at accessories here real quick. First, we do get a couple of goggles here. So you've got a red pair, you've got a green pair. Look pretty good. He does come with a couple of swords, and you can, of course, remove them from the sheaths. Looking pretty nice. He also does come with a pistol with a suppressor on it. And then lastly, he does come with a little clip here that pegs into the back where you can put the two sword sheaths in so that he can carry his swords on his back. All right, so we got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and look at the figure itself. And I gotta say, I kind of messed around with this just a little bit before doing this part of the video, and it looks amazing. Sculpt on this thing is just beautiful. I mean, look at the pants, look at the ninja boots that you've got there, torso, arms, head sculpt, everything looks great. You've got the harness there, the gloves look awesome, belt, holster, everything. Sculpt on this is just fantastic. And then of course you get to the paint job, which is really basic, but look at that dry brush. It just really brings out all the detail in this figure. Really, really nice job there with the dry brushing. Love that stuff. And of course he does kind of look like Snake Eyes. I mean, he really does, just with maybe a little bit of a skull mask. And I'm sure once you get the goggles on, he will look even more like Snake Eyes. As far as articulation goes, he's basically the same as the last figure I reviewed. So it's very similar to Marvel Legends, just in that, you get standard ankles, for instance, with rocker and pivot and twist. You get the double jointed knees, the double jointed elbows, standard wrist, head is on a ball joint shoulders, you get thigh cuts, you get bicep cuts, you get a swivel at the waist. But then what impresses me a lot about this line is I think this is just about the best diaphragm joint I have seen on an action figure, the ones that we are getting with this line. I mean, even if you move the harness out of the way, I mean, the diaphragm joint really maintains the sculpt really, really well. And the fact that it does that and yet has all this articulation, I mean, look how far over he can bend, how far back he can bend, and all on that beautifully sculpted diaphragm joint. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. I love that about these figures. They really kicked up the articulation on these in a way that not a lot of other, manufacturers are doing right now. I think they did a fantastic job. So pretty basic articulation, but just that one little, bump up there really makes a big difference on this figure. So let's go ahead and throw up some other figures so you guys can see how he stacks up with some other lines. All right, so at first we got to compare him to the other two articulated icons that I picked up. Of course, they're the same figure that I got one of the accessory packs to tweak just a little bit, so they look a little bit different. But you can see, I mean, we've got similar styling and everything going on here. Looks great. So far, with these three figures, I'm really digging this line. All right, so since he does kind of look like Snake Eyes, which is why I thought he was pretty cool, go ahead and throw him up with a couple of G.I. Joe classifieds that we have. Of course, we got a couple different versions of Snake Eyes here. And as you'll notice, whether it's with G.I. Joe classifieds or Marvel Legends or really anything coming out of Hasbro right now, they're not really true 6-inch scale figures like this Articulated Icons is. They're kind of 6.5-inch scale, and you can see the height difference here, and the proportions are just bigger all around. And so while there's a lot of similarities here, not sure it would work in a display, but that's really your call. And now we throw him in with a couple of Figma figures. So we've got Captain America, we've got Thor, and you can see this works really, really well together. Fits in great with Figma stuff. He's right there in that sweet spot. A little taller than Captain America, a little shorter than Thor, and this works fantastic. And for my money, we hit the sweet spot right here, and this, of course, is comparing them to SH Figuarts. I think this is perfect. You got Captain America, you got Spider-Man, and with Captain America, you kind of expect him to be a little taller than your average human being. Here we see he is in Spider-Man being a little shorter than your average human being, and same thing, he is here. So this guy kind of fits right in perfectly in that sweet spot with something like SH Figuarts for display purposes. All right, so now we get into price here, and I picked this guy up for 32 bucks. It was $31.99 on the fwoosh store website, and is it worth it at that price? And I gotta say, yeah, it really is. I mean, a lot of similarities in articulation to something like Marvel Legends and other Hasbro stuff, but kind of just a little bit of a step up. And the fact that you get that level of articulation and then some with a sculpt that is maintained beautifully, and while paint is not extensive on this figure, you get some really nice dry brushing. Man, when you're looking at Marvel Legends selling for $25 to $35, something like this for $32, I mean, yeah, it's definitely worth it. And this was one of the more basic figures that they had for articulated icons. They had a lot of fantastic figures on there that probably are even better than this one. So definitely worth checking that out. And if you like cool black ninja dudes like Snake Eyes, man, this one's kind of a no-brainer. Look, I'm very, very happy that I picked this guy up. I like him quite a bit. I liked the other figure that I got, but not as much as I like this one. That was a little bit more of a basic figure. This one's just great. I love this thing, and hands down, I think it's worth the price. Very, very happy I picked him up, but would love to know what you guys think down below. Do you guys collect articulated icons? If you do, what do you think of them? If you don't, why not? Or is it just something you just haven't picked up yet? And are you likely to? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comment section down below. So thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. And always remember to enjoy your collection.